Assassin Set Mid and Lethality Jin are two of the 10 new insane Korean builds we've got lined up for you all today. Our analysts have been hard at work researching what the top pros and high elo players have been building to bring you guys these new setups before they catch fire. If there are any other new builds you've been playing that we don't cover in this video, then be sure to let us know down in the comments below. Any setups that look interesting, we'll do some research on and possibly feature it in a future video. To keep up with the meta and all the educational content we produce, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And without any further ado, let's get into these builds. The first build we need to take a look at is one that will work on a variety of tanks consisting of a Warmog 2nd and Gargoyle Stoneplate 3rd. Warmog's buffs this patch means it's way more valuable as a second item purchase. In previous patches, the Warmog's passive wouldn't activate with 2 core items since you'd need 3,000 total health. At 2 core items, most champions aren't able to achieve 3,000 health. The buff to Warmogs makes it so that you only need 1,100 bonus health to activate the health regen passive. This means if you have your mythic tank item, which is 350 health, combined with the Warmog's bonus health of 800, you will be above that 1100 threshold by 50 HP. The consistency that Warmogs will bring now makes it a much more powerful purchase. Now, as for Stoneplate, the synergy it has with Warmogs is insane due to the shield from Stoneplate scaling off your bonus health. The scaling ratio is 100% of your bonus health, so this means with Warmogs and a tank mythic, you'll receive over 1,000 health shields from Stoneplate. We've already seen this setup pick up steam over in Korea on Ornn, and we expect champions like Cho'Gath, Sejuani, and other picks who scale off health to follow suit. The item combination of Divine Sunderer into Black Cleaver becomes ridiculously stronger in 11.11, and one champion flying heavily under the radar with it is Gnar. Stridebreaker Rush has been such a cornerstone on Gnar for months now, but after repeated nerfs combined with the Divine Sunderer buffs, it's time to jump ship, especially in games where you're up against a tank top or the enemy comp has lots of health stacking champions. Building Divine into Cleaver will become way more optimal. The damage potential from Divine and Cleaver will be so much more than that of Stridebreaker and Sterak's. Stridebreaker will still have its place against squishier comps or when against high mobility, but you shouldn't be running it every single game. After completing Black Cleaver, going into a Sterak's 3rd is a good choice. Rune Page is Grasp of the Undying with Demolish, Second Wind, and Overgrowth. Secondary runes are Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at skillcap.com. We have professional courses by the top players, Smurf commentaries where a challenger player walks you through how to climb out of every rank from iron to diamond, and we upload tons of new exclusive guides to our website each week. In fact, we're so confident you'll improve using our system that if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCap, you can claim a full refund, so there's no risk. What are you waiting for? Check out skillcap.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. We've seen many champions benefit from the Riftmaker buffs last patch. However, one pick who's being forgotten is Ekko. Ekko Jungle with a Nashor's Rush into Riftmaker 2nd is the core build, and it provides you with amazing burst combined with consistent damage power. The more standard Ekko build of Rocket Belt into Lichbane is very front-loaded. Once you proc passive, the damage output is very little. With Nashor's and Riftmaker, you're still able to burst quite well, but have the ability to deal way more damage from auto attacks so that you don't heavily rely on cooldowns. We've seen this setup work so well on Diana already, and Ekko has a very similar trade pattern, which makes it great on him too. Third item in this build would be Lichbane to provide some extra all-in pop. Rune Page is standard with Dark Harvest, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Take Freeboots and Futures Market for secondaries. Frozen Heart is seeing even more buffs in 11.11 as it's now been buffed a few times over the past couple weeks. Now, what champion would enjoy a cheap heavy armor stack item that has a passive which reduces the enemy's attack speed? Rammus fits the bill. When up against auto attack reliant AD enemy compositions, building a Frozen Heart gives you great value this patch. The attack speed slow increased from 15 to 20% is really nice, and the rock solid damage deflection passive now having a base value means the item is so much stronger as a second purchase. Say you're playing against a Master Yi jungle and Tryndamere top lane, Frozen Heart is such a good angle there as it shuts down both of their kits extremely hard. The 20 haste from Frozen Heart is really nice too, especially since Rammus E cooldown was nerfed earlier in the season. In games where the enemy comp has a ton of healing, Thornmail will still be the go-to option for sure. Otherwise, grabbing a Frozen Heart is going to provide you with more value thanks to its buffs. A sample full build is Chemtank into Frozen Heart and Deadman's Plate. For runes, take Aftershock with Font of Life, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. Pick up Triumph and Alacrity for secondaries. A really interesting build for Set Mid that turns him into an assassin has been popping up, which consists of a Prowler's Claw Rush into the Collector 2nd. The point-and-click burst potential from this build turns Sett into a nightmare for other melee mid laners. There's very little counterplay to a Sett point-and-click dashing onto you, stunning with E, and then locking you down with ult. This full combo will 100-0 any squishy mid laner and is extremely tilting to play against. Keep in mind that Sett's ultimate and W saw bonus AD ratio buffs just 2 patches ago. These are key reasons as to why a heavy AD build like this can work so much better. You can mess around with the third item with this setup depending on the game. If you want more burst, then going into a Lord Dominix is quite popular. For more survivability, picking up Sterak's is a great play. As for the rune page, running Hail of Blades is super nasty as it amplifies your burst even more. Follow with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. For secondary runes, grab Second Wind and Revitalize. Chovy and Faker have been experimenting with some Kalista mid over the past few days. The setup revolves around Shield Bow into Rage Blade, and you want to take Exhaust as the secondary summoner spell. Kalista mid can work very well as a counter to melee mid laners or as an answer to other marksmen in the mid lane like Lucian. You're really focused around the 1v1 dueling power with this setup, which is why Rage Blade is purchased second instead of Hurricane. Rage Blade was just buffed last patch, so hitting your 2-item spike is a little faster now. Exhaust is amazing for Kalista as you want to use it when the enemy melee mid tries to jump in, negate all of their damage, and then mow them down with the consistent DPS and sticking power. Kalista's early skirmish potential with the Exhaust is very strong, so winning out on those 2v2 fights at Scuttle will help you snowball really well. For runes, run Hail of Blades with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Even more tankiness comes in from the secondary page as you'll opt for Bone Plating and Revitalize. It's been quite some time since we've seen Lethality Jhin, but it's slowly starting to make its way back into the meta over in Korea. The core build is Prowler's Claw Rush into Serpent's Fang 2nd and Sanguine Blade 3rd. This may seem like a super wonky build on paper, but let us explain. Prowler's Claw has already started popping off on Varus, and it works so well on these champions who want lethality, but also would like some extra mobility. If you're unaware, the Prowler's Claw active can be used through minions, so as long as you're fighting around a wave, you've got a gap close to kite away. In a way, Prowler's is the lethality version of Gale Force, albeit the active is a little less versatile. Serpent's Fang is buffed for 11.11 on ranged champions, so it becomes an even better second purchase. The Collector is great though if there's no shielding present. Sanguine Blade works really well with Jhin's kit since the bonus attack speed from the Sanguine Blade passive is converted into AD thanks to Jhin passive. All the lethality from this setup make it a super strong build against squishy enemy comps. If you're playing against a couple tanks or bruisers, then continue to build crit. You should be looking to swap things around and adjust based on what you think is best for each game. Runes are same as always with Dark Harvest, Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Precision secondary with Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace work great. It's likely many AD carries begin to incorporate Serpent's Fang into their core build for 11.11, but one you shouldn't even hesitate to build it on is Varus. A third item Serpent's Fang can round out your core build really nicely against those nasty shield compositions. There's honestly not much more to say other than really consider Serpents as a legitimate purchase now, and think about whether or not it will give you good value depending on the game. First two items in the build path are Prowler's Claw and Manamune. With Hail of Blades now nerfed for 11.11, look to Comet instead if you're playing lethality. Follow with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Inspiration will work for secondary, running Freeboots and Biscuits. When one door closes, another one opens, and that's the case with Senna's build in 11.11. Even though Frostfire was nerfed, a really strong alternative that was buffed this patch in Divine Sunderer can slot in perfectly instead. Divine has always been a pretty good pickup on Senna in previous patches, but it was just overshadowed by Frostfire and Kraken. Now that Sunderer is buffed along with Black Cleaver, this 2-item combination will be super deadly. Divine and Cleaver had the best win percent for any 2-item combination in previous patches, so now that both items are buffed, you'll want to abuse this while you can. Sunderer is so great for Senna since she can proc the Spellblade passive with her Q. Although you won't be as tanky as if you had Frostfire, the 400 health from Sunderer provides a nice chunk of durability. A huge pro to the setup as well is that you're getting 45 ability haste to spam out Q more often and provide lots of utility for your team. Round things out with a rapid fire cannon as your third item. Rune-wise, take Glacial Augment with Freeboots, Biscuits, and Approach Velocity. Presence of Mind and Alacrity work best for secondaries. Bard, along with many other supports, have a really great new second item purchase for 11.11 in Frozen Heart. Coming in at only 2,500 gold, Frozen Heart is an accessible heavy armor purchase that can do an amazing job at shutting down those auto-reliant champions. Other than the enemy AD carry, if there is another champion on the enemy team who's AD and deals the majority of their damage from autos, then grabbing Frozen Heart will be very powerful. Just by standing near the enemy, you can reduce their attack speed by 20%, which is taking away over 500 gold worth of stats. Frozen Heart is already 107% efficient without the passive factored in, so considering the item is being buffed in 2 different ways will make it insanely efficient. Overall, Frozen Heart will remain a very underrated purchase throughout this patch, so look to pick it up when the opportunity presents itself. It's going to be a great buy on all of your tankier engaged supports. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out skillcap.com, link in the description below. So, those are all the builds we have for you guys today. You can bet we'll be back again next patch with another round of builds, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks so much for watching, good luck with all these setups in 11.11, and we will catch you back soon.